Hello everyone, this is a model of the heart that we have in lab. Just want to go through all the features that we can based on the lab manual. Um, so just looking exteriorly at the heart, you're going to see the all the chambers. You have the right atrium, you have the left atrium, much smaller. You can see the contours of the right ventricle and the contours of the left ventricle. This is all anatomical left, anatomical right, so try to orient yourself. Coming out right here, you have the superior vena cava. Here's the aorta, and the aortic arch right here. Then you're going to have the pulmonary trunk coming out right there. We can actually identify some of the branches for the arteries. Here we're going to have the brachiocephalic trunk or brachiocephalic artery. There's only one for arteries. Then you're going to have the carotid artery, left carotid artery, and then you're going to have the left subclavian artery right here coming out. Those are the three. Let's see what else we can find. We have the right auricle. That's a part of the right atrium. It's this little pouch right here. You have the left auricle right here. All right, we also have the coronary sulcus. The coronary sulcus, what's cool about that is it actually delineates between the ventricles and the atria. Now, remember, you can go back to page 29 in your lab manual to remember what a sulcus is. A sulcus is a groove. So the coronary sulcus is this groove that delineates between the atria and the ventricles. And it goes all the way around. See this groove going all the way around? Coronary sulcus. Let's keep it on the anterior side of the heart. We also have the interventricular sulcus right here, that groove between the two ventricles. What else do we have? Okay, let's look at the coronary vessels. So we have the right coronary artery right here. Coming down right here is the left coronary artery. In the interventricular, and both of those were in the coronary sulcus. And then you have the interventricular vessels right here, arteries and veins in the interventricular sulcus. This is the anterior interventricular sulcus with the anterior interventricular vessels. Let's go to the back side here, posterior side. Here, the inferior vena cava is coming into the right atrium. So now let's orient ourselves again. Right atrium, left ventricle, right ventricle. Then you're going to have this posterior interventricular sulcus with the posterior interventricular vessels going alongside of it. You're also going to have the coronary sinus right here. What else can we find on this right here? Let's try to get a better view of this. Okay, then you have the pulmonary trunk. Remember that was coming out? But this blood is going away from the heart. So this is a pulmonary to be your left pulmonary artery and your right pulmonary artery. We also are getting a view of the azygos vein right here coming posteriorly into the superior vena cava. Then you have this blood is going towards the heart. So these are your superior and inferior left pulmonary veins, superior, inferior, right pulmonary veins. What else can we see? I think that's about it. We're also some external features you want to note, one that I missed before we open up the heart here, is the apex of the heart is down here. Okay, so let's look into the right atrium now. And you're going to see something right away. You're going to see all these pectinate muscles right here. They're mostly in the right atrium, and they're mostly inside the auricles. So this left auricle will also have pectinate muscles. Another thing you're going to see is the opening for the coronary sinus right here. And then this is the fossa ovalis. It used to be the foramen ovale when you were a fetus. And then all that's lining this chamber, and in fact all the chambers of the heart, will be endocardium. And endocardium is 3 different tissue layers, and you're going to have to look that up and give a function for that. So opening this up, here we're going to see the right ventricle and left ventricle separated by the interventricular septum right here. Also, what's lining these 2 chambers is endocardium. You're also going to see the valve, the atrioventricular valve right here called the tricuspid valve, that allows passage of blood between the right atrium and left atrium, and the bicuspid valve right here that goes from the left atrium to the left ventricle. What's attached to all the flaps, the 3 flaps here for the tricuspid valve, is chordinae tendineae. These tendinous strings that are then attached to papillary muscle. It's not so shown very well here. On this side, looks like it was destroyed on this side, but on this side you can see the papillary muscle, and this was probably the same thing right here. But this is, here you can see a papillary muscle in the left ventricle attached to some chordinae tendineae, and then the chordinae tendineae attached to one of the flaps of the bicuspid valve. So those papillary muscles are going to contract and create tension on the chordinae tendineae, and they're also on the flaps of the atrioventricular valves. All right, what else can we see? Just in general, on your list, you'll see myocardium. All myocardium means is cardiac muscle. So all the muscle of the heart is a myocardium. We're also going to see here's one of these semilunar valves. Since this is going to the pulmonary trunk, this is your pulmonary semilunar valve or pulmonary valve. And then on this side, this semilunar valve right here is the aortic semilunar valve going there to the aorta. Also, one thing I forgot to mention is the epicardium. Oh, and the trabecular carne. I don't want to forget about this before I close up the heart. Trabecular carne is all of this muscle, all this jagged muscle here lining the ventricles. That's going to have a function. You're going to need to know that it's not making a smooth surface in the ventricle, so that's a good hint right there. One thing I forgot to mention, let's just close up the heart, is the epicardium. So the epicardium is going to be that visceral pericardium, that serous membrane that's going to line the heart. And that's it. Okay. Good luck studying the heart.